Sports, America's favorite pastime, and movies, America's favorite movies. What do sports and movies have in common? Well, other than overinflated budgets and highly overpaid entertainers, some movies are about sports. In fact, some of the greatest movies of all time. Compiling a list based on critical acclaim, fan response, cultural impact, and personal opinion. Here are the top 10 greatest sports movies of all time. Coming in at number 10 is Raging Bull. This was a tough pick. I was really between Raging Bull and Rocky, two fantastic movies about boxers. But this movie, a 1980 American biographical black and white sports drama film, was directed by Martin Scorsese, and his style and ability as a director puts it just over the top. The film centers around the real-life boxer Jake LaMotta, drawing and adapted from Raging Bull, My Story, his memoir. Robert De Niro plays the character, and it's a great movie, showing a lot about the middleweight boxer, his life, and the sport. AFI, the American Film Institute, ranks this as the number one sports movie of all time, and while it's definitely one of the greatest, I'm just going to be putting it in at number 10, and you'll see why. Number 9, Anger Management. This 2003 American slapstick comedy film is directed by Peter Sagal and written by David S. Dorfman. It stars Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson, as well as Marissa Tomei, who was in The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, which is not on this list. Anger management is set into motion when an annoying passenger in a case of mistaken identity causes Adam Sandler's character Dave Busnick to lose his temper on an airline flight. He is sentenced to anger management classes with his instructor, Jack Nicholson, who has a name in the movie that I don't care to remember. The most important thing about this movie is the finale. Spoiler alert! In the final act of the film, Dave, Adam Sandler, goes to a New York Yankees game where Rudy Giuliani, the mayor of New York, has a brief cameo appearance. Dave and his girlfriend make up and end up getting engaged. It turns out the whole thing was set up by Jack Nicholson's character as a form of completing Dave, Adam Sandler's, therapy. Number 8. The Derek Jeter and George Steinbrenner Visa commercial. In this classic film, George Steinbrenner asks Derek Jeter how he's able to live such a lavish lifestyle. Derek Jeter responds by holding up a Visa card. George Steinbrenner immediately understands. Number 7. The Abstinence. The 143rd episode of American sitcom Seinfeld, Season 8, Episode 9, was directed by Andy Ackerman and written by Steve Coren. Released on November 21st, 1996, this film contains a groundbreaking scene in which George is giving batting advice to New York Yankees legends Derek Jeter and Bernie Williams. For those of you who don't know, the New York Yankees are a classic baseball team, and this goes down in history as one of the most famous movies about it. Number 6. Jack and Jill. This 2011 American comedy film directed by Dennis Dugan and written by Adam Sandler and Steve Coren. That's right, this movie was written by the same guy who wrote that episode of Seinfeld. What a weird coincidence. Though critically panned at the time, this film includes an amazing scene in which Jack, Adam Sandler, takes his twin sister Jill, Adam Sandler, to an LA Lakers game where Al Pacino is supposed to be. For those of you who don't know, the Los Angeles Lakers are a basketball team, and basketball is a sport. Number 5. Kazaam. This 1996 American musical fantasy comedy film directed by Paul Michael Glaser and written by Christian Ford and Roger Sofer includes Shaquille O'Neal as the title character, Kazaam, a 5,000-year-old rapping genie who appears from a magic boombox to grant a boy 3 wishes. For those of you who don't know, Shaquille O'Neal was a famous basketball player who played on the Lakers and the Magic. He was really important. In the movie, he plays Kazaam, a rapping genie who transforms one of the bad guys into a basketball and then slam dunks him into a garbage disposal. For those of you who don't know, a slam dunk is something you do in basketball, the sport Shaquille O'Neal played. Number 4. MVP2 Most Vertical Primate. MVP2 Most Vertical Primate is one of those great sequels like The Godfather Part 2 that somehow trumps the original in quality. This 2001 film stars Jack, a fictional chimpanzee who stars on the Seattle Simians hockey team. He gets kicked off of the team after a scandal involving him being framed for biting another player, and he goes and finds a runaway homeless skateboard guy. The little boy has no parents or something. And the boy teaches him how to skateboard. The film also includes Richard Karn of Family Feud and Home Improvement. Wow! Number 3. Pixels 2015. This Chinese-American science fiction action comedy film produced by Columbia Pictures, 1492 Pictures, and Happy Madison Productions was directed by Chris Columbus, but not that Chris Columbus, from a screenplay by Tim Herlihy and Timothy Dowling, based on a story penned by Tim Herlihy and based on the French director Patrick Jean's 2010 short film of the same name, featuring computer-animated video game characters and special effects, as well as the film stars Adam Sandler of Jack and Jill and Anger Management, Kevin James of King of Queens and Paul Blart Mall Cop, and Josh Gad, who played the Snowman in Frozen. This film highlights the importance of esports in the modern age and will go down in history as one of the first great esport movies. Number 2. Air Bud. Air Bud is a 1997 American-Canadian family comedy drama film about a basketball-playing dog, starring the real-life dog Buddy, who died of cancer after making this movie his final role. And finally, the number 1 greatest sports film of all time, 2016's Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad is an American live-action animated sports comedy film starring basketball legend Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny of the Looney Tunes. Michael Jordan must help the Looney Tunes by coming